I'm an atheist because there's no way I can look back 2,000 years and read a book and go, oh, well, that's the way I should live. It's like the way you think of life, where you say that governments rule over everything that you do. I believe the same thing with a book. You look at a book and go, that's fucking facts right there. How are you going to let a book rule what you say? That's nuts to me. It's actually insane. It's actually mad, because 2,000 years ago, no.
Religion in and of itself is separate to God. However, religion in and of itself, do you believe that religion in and of itself is a force for good? Do you believe that religion...
I actually do, because my family, so I've got a family that's half Christian, half Muslim, and I respect the way they live is a lot better than the way I know most of my friends live.
Okay, correct. So let me ask you another question. If 100 people believe in a God, and the God they believe in makes them act like better people, and they're better for the world. Yeah. Do you believe that their belief in God in and of itself makes God real?
Yes, it does, but they're believing in a lie. No. It doesn't mean that God is real. They just believe the lie is making them act better.
If God wants people to act in a righteous way, and people believe in God, and that makes them act righteously,
then I respect that.
Does that make God exist?
No.
In some form,
not in any form.
Even as an idea.
As an idea?
Do you believe? Yes. Do you believe the idea of God makes people act more righteously?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, so do you believe that God as a whole, even as an idea, him existing even as an idea, brings out the righteousness in humans?
Sure. Yeah, it does. Sure. It actually brings out bad people. Like yourself, you love God.
I think the argument more is like whether that, you know, they're living. They believe that this is a real thing and that's why they're doing it, versus looking at themselves and going, I actually don't mind whether this is an idea or this is real or not. This is making me a better person. And if people came out and said that, I think I'd be a lot more understanding.
What is real? If an idea makes someone act righteously, is that not real? Is the righteousness in and of itself not
Andrew,
real?
you strike me as a man that would not want the wool pulled over his eyes.
I'm not having the wool pulled over my eyes. Yeah. And I understand everything you're saying about the book. Yeah. I understand it all. I understand all your points. Trust me very well. My question is, you say about real. You're talking about real. Yeah. I'm saying if somebody believes in God and they act righteously, is that righteousness real?
The way that act is real.
Yeah.
Okay, so the righteousness is real. Yeah. And why are they acting righteously? Because of God, correct?
Well, because
of their belief in God.
Because of their idea.
Okay, so they believe in God. Is their belief in God real?
Yes, absolutely. Of course, you can't deny it.
So is God real?
No.
Yes, he is.
No.
You can believe in something.
Andrew, listen, me and you, we're brothers. Me, you, Tristan, Luke, we're a family. But you will never be able to convince me that God is real. And listen, I've got the utmost respect for you. The reason you're on this podcast is because I respect you highly and you're a great man.
But where does it...
But there is nothing you can say to me.
Then let me try something else. Let me ask you from a different angle.
Come on, a different angle. Give me some.
My point is very simple. My point is, if you take X amount of people and they believe in God and they act righteously and they add good to the world because of their belief in God, then that makes God on some level, even only as an idea, he is a real thing. Because ideas are real things. And that makes... Now,
I've got you.
Ideas are real things. And let me answer another question then. Let me change it another angle. Do you believe that some of the things happening in the world today, whether it's Epstein's Island, whether it's COVID, insanity, whether it's propagation of pedophilia, whatever, do you agree that there are some things in the world today which are the act of the devil? Do you believe that Satan... Do you believe that people who believe in evil, do you believe that perversion, do you believe that genuine evil exists on the planet?
My question at this point, though, is so are we saying that anytime something bad happens in the world, are we just going to say the devil, this is the devil's work?
No.
So if it was God being the almighty being,
correct.
Surely he has a say in all this.
I understand your point. So let me answer it another way. Do you believe there is a force for perversion which is enacting its will upon the world today?
No.
You don't believe there's a force for evil?
Every single thing that we do and act and every single thing.
It's nature.
There's no evil. There is no evil. There is no good. Tomorrow, Andrew, you could wake up and you could get hit by a bus. It's over. Whatever that you lived is done. It's not that you're good or bad.
I understand your point
I live a life where everything kind of just is energy.
I understand. I believe there is a force for evil. I
Okay.
believe there's a force for perversion.
Okay.
I believe there are people out there which are trying to spread evil ideas. I believe there are propagandists which are trying to purport negativity.
Yep.
I believe that a lot of the mainstream ideas and thoughts and considerations are deliberately perverse. And once you understand that there is a force for evil, then you must understand there's a force for good, and that force for good is God. Now, you're thinking of God as a man in the sky.
I don't think that,
okay.
actually.
You're thinking of God as a book.
No.
okay, well, then-
My idea of God is the energy of the universe.
Okay, so I'm thinking
that's
of
what I
God.
believe in.
I'm thinking of God as a force for good. If you believe that there's an evil force which is doing this on purpose, then you would have to believe there's a positive force. And that positive force is God. Even if you don't believe in God, men who stand up and say no in and amongst themselves under the name of God makes God a real thing.
Yeah.
I'll give you another example. I go to churches in Romania that are 5,000 years old. If you go to a building that is 5,000 years old, and for 5,000 years people have gone there and thought positive thoughts and prayed to an imaginary man called God under the name of positivity, do you believe that that makes God in and of itself, in that particular building, in and of itself, a real thing? When people go there and only positively think of one thing in and of itself.
Yeah, potentially, because...
Does that make the idea real?
So, can I ask you something?
Because I need to see like genuine. I think for me, I look at it a lot more from like almost a scientific point of view, in the sense that I need to see.
I understand.
Is my
real
idea
stuff.
of God real? Because my idea of God, because I know, listen, when you've got on this planet and everyone thinks of God, Allah, everything,
Yeah.
come from multiple different backgrounds, and I know what they think. But my idea of God it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
It's a
Energy.
universal thing.
I understand.
It's an energy thing, and
I
it's
understand.
like anything good that you do will maybe come back,
No,
and that's
I
just the
understand.
energy that the universe.
Let me ask another question.
Is that wrong or right?
No. I understand your points of view. I want you to just, as I carry on, I want you to both know that I was an atheist, and I understand your points of view very, very well.
So you were like me.
Very well.
At one point.
Yeah, at one point. Let me ask you another question. In your mind, purely in your mind, what is the difference between a dream and a memory?
A memory is something that I've experienced and I've been through, and that I can completely remember
You have
because I was there at the time.
like senses attached to it.
You have
whether it be
senses attached to a memory, but you don't have a
smells,
dream. But you don't with the dream.
No.
Yeah,
A
Correct.
dream is
Correct.
yeah.
Understood.
You don't want. I won't answer. that,
Understood.
so,
But I'm
yeah.
saying if you remove the senses element, if you're sitting here and you're trying to remember a dream or you're trying to remember something that actually happened, what's the genuine difference?
Well, one that I lived through it, and the other one I haven't.
No,
lived through
you
it.
know that. I'm not asking that. I'm saying in your mind, in and of
Yeah.
itself, remember a dream and remember a real event. Do
Yep.
you remember them any differently?
Not really.
No, I
but
can't
Not
remember
really.
a dream.
It's not really is the true answer.
No, not really. I
Not
can't.
really is the true answer. I
No,
understand.
I
I
mean, they're
understand.
the same
If
to
you're
me.
no.
They're the same.
If it's cerebral, you can sit there and go, okay, that happened. That didn't happen.
A
That's
memory-
cerebral. I'm
a
not
me-
saying
I
that.
would
I'm
say a
saying
memory is more
remember
real.
it and try and experience it in your mind, and you'll
Okay.
soon learn that
Doing-
it's only the idea of things that make them real. Let me tell you something that you will not
Okay.
believe. I'll tell you something that you will not believe.
Yeah.
People often ask me, especially when I put up a picture on Instagram, how I'm in such good shape. Say, how are you in such good shape when all you do is travel the world and drink alcohol and smoke cigars?
Their
You
idea
barely
of
go
it.
to the gym. And I say that I train in my sleep, and they call me crazy. Because I can lucidly dream, because I can control my dreams, which is another podcast in and of itself. I train in my dreams. I convince my mind that I've trained. I convince my mind that I need to be ready for war, and my body reacts accordingly. It is the ideas that are real. What do they say in the Matrix? The body cannot exist without the mind. It's the ideas that are real. An idea in and of itself is real enough. If you remember a dream the same way you remember a real event, they are basically the same. My body proves that because I do most of my training as I fucking sleep. If I believe in the idea of God, if millions of people believe in the idea of God, if millions of people do good things under the name of God, the same God, and they believe in him, and they pray to him, and they worship him, even if he's not a real person, as an idea in and of itself, it exists. And that idea which exists makes people act in the way in which God would want them to act, which makes God real. He may only be real as an idea, but that's real enough. You must understand, you're thinking of it as God as a person. You're thinking of it
Yeah, I
as the
get what you're
book.
saying.
You must think of it as an idea in and of itself. If the idea of God is adhered to, and that makes society act underneath God's will, then he is real. If the idea of evil is real, if the idea of perversion is real, then the opposite force must be real. This is Newton's second law. There must be an equal and opposite force. If there are people out there trying to do evil, there are people who are out there trying to do good. And when you find the people in the world who are trying to do the best for humanity, they're doing it under the name of what? God. He is a real thing because he is inspiring the resistance against the perversion of earth. And to sit here and say that God is not real, I understand your arguments.
Yeah.
The book is bullshit. He's not a person in the sky, blah, blah, blah.
I don't
You're
really think
thinking very one-dimensional.
I'm not
You're
in the
not
person
thinking
in the sky thing. I'm not really on that idea. I'd never thought that anyway.
You need to think beyond that and understand that all the perversion, all the negativity on the planet is being resisted under the name of one person.
Yeah.
And if that person
the idea of God.
If that person is an idea,
That's
which
it.
is God,
That is-
then God exists.
That is the best
I
way
get it.
anybody has ever put it towards me, by the way, because when I've spoken to religious people in my past, I've spoken to people that are